guys, welcome to Bastion Time. I'm your host Bastion. This is Nintendo News. Let's get to that news. I don't know if this is still here by the time this video comes out because I think this will be the third video of the week, so it might be gone by now. But if you ever use Google Maps, which is at maps.google.com, you will now notice that there is a new icon which looks very similar to Link. And I suspect this was due to Twilight Princess HD coming out, but I'm not positive. But in any case, you can use him to drop a pin on a map. It's very cool. You should definitely goof around with that. There's not really a link for you down in the description because it's just map.google.com, but there you go. Speaking of Zelda, there's a new video out from Did You Know Gaming about Zelda glitches. Who knew that there were that many interesting glitches to talk about that you could do a whole video on them? But there are, and Did You Know Gaming did exactly that, so if you want to watch a video about that kind of stuff, there's a link down there for you. If you're familiar with the PICROSS series, and I am not, it's some kind of puzzle-type series that I know nothing about, but apparently there's a new version coming out that is based on Twilight Princess HD. I don't know. I really should have looked up PICROSS before I started babbling about it. But anyways, and this, by the way, is just a rumor, but it's one of those rumors that's basically completely likely because of the source and all that kind of stuff. So it could still actually just be a rumor and totally false, so we'll see. So there was a rumor saying that Beyond Good and Evil 2 by Ubisoft was coming out for the NX, and it was going to be an NX exclusive, and that seemed pretty awesome if that were the case. So, interestingly enough, that site that reported that, Ubisoft reached out to them and said, hey, can you take that story down, please? We don't really want that being spread around. Now, to a lot of people, this could mean one of two things. Either one is completely false, and Ubisoft doesn't want false rumors out there, or two, it's totally true, but Ubisoft wants it to be a surprise and doesn't want it to be spoiled by having it out there. It's much more likely that it's the second one, because companies typically don't bother contradicting false rumors. They don't want to go out of their way to contradict every single false rumor, and there are tons of them out there. But if there is something that's coming out that will alter their marketing strategy or influence people's expectations, they kind of want to nip that in the bud. So it seems much more likely to me that it really is going to be an NX exclusive, which is pretty cool. We'll just have to wait and see, though. We learned something interesting about Impa, or wasn't it Impa's from Twilight Princess, that she was originally going to be Yahi. Originally, the character design for that Impa character was a decrepit old man, which is weird because Impa has been in many Zelda games since the very first one, and she's always been depicted as a decrepit old lady. Well, until Twilight Princess, when suddenly she was a young, middle-aged ninja. But in any case, usually Impa is depicted as a little old lady, and I guess they're gonna swap her gender for some reason or other, but then decided against it, so that's interesting. And then our final story for the day is something that I already knew, but maybe you didn't already know, which is that Link's Awakening, that first Zelda game for the Game Boy Color, no, it was just the regular Game Boy at first, then they did a Game Boy Color version called Link's Awakening DX. Anyway, the point is, that game was originally not sanctioned by Nintendo. When they first started making it, the people who were making it were not supposed to be making it. There was no, Miyamoto wasn't involved, nobody was involved. It was Tezuka who started an after-hours club to be like, let's see if we can make a Zelda-style game for the Game Boy. And once it reached a point, originally it was going to just be an adaptation of A Link to the Past, but they scrapped that idea, and then once it reached a point where okay, we've actually got something here, then they showed it off to the higher-ups at Nintendo, who said, sure, why not? Go ahead and build that thing. So, yeah, it was originally not sanctioned. It was just fans of Zelda who happened to work at Nintendo who weren't on Zelda team. Well, they were, actually. Some of them were on the Link to the Past team, but anyways, they were making it without anybody knowing, and then they decided to go ahead, Nintendo decided to go ahead and approve it, so that's pretty interesting. Anyways, that's it for this episode of Nintendo News. See you guys next time for more news. Bye, guys.